Crypto Michael says XRP is now just days away from this breakout. Right, what if I told you that the months of sideways boredom, the endless waiting, and the exhausting fake outs in the crypto markets are about to end in just a matter of days? Right now, the entire digital asset space is staring at one specific chart. While most retail traders have completely checked out, one of the most vocal analysts in the space, Crypto Michael right here, has just issued an urgent warning on X. He states that XRP is now just days away from a massive bullish breakout, confidently adding, as usual, I will be right. So we are tracking a long-term pattern that has kept the price restricted for months, but the walls are closing in and the token has run out of room to move sideways. So in this video, we are breaking down Crypto Michael's perspective, uncovering the massive psychological battle happening at the key resistance levels, and exploring why this specific moment feels completely different from previous relief rallies. So let's start with our very first question about why is Crypto Michael risking his entire reputation on a matter of days. Crypto Michael's latest chart here highlights a long-term descending channel that has capped every single recovery attempt since May. But what makes his latest post so explosive is his focus on timing. He isn't saying a breakout might happen by the end of the year or sometime next quarter. He is explicitly stating we are just days away. Now, here's my opinion. I've seen hundreds of analysts make bold claims, but it takes a serious level of conviction to give a definitive window of just days. So my personal take on this is that the market sentiment has become so numb, so negative news, it has become so numb to negative news that it has created a perfect contrarian setup. When everyone expects nothing to happen, that is historically when the biggest players choose to strike. Crypto Michael here knows that the structural setup is reaching an absolute dead end and a resolution has to happen immediately. Now, how did the recent recovery set up the trap for the bears? If we look at the price action from June, XRP tested its lower boundaries twice. It's here and then here. The first drop happened during a brutal market-wide decline where retail investors capitulated. The second test came after a brief recovery attempt was shut down right after the upper trend line. Instead of falling apart, the price did something highly significant. It formed a higher low. Now here's my opinion. I think of the market right now like an hourglass that is down to its last few grains of sand. The price action has been compressed into such a tight space that the downward momentum has simply exhausted itself. So what I can say is that these two tests in June were essential shakedowns designed to clear out speculative leverage. By establishing higher lows right after rejection, the buyers prove they are defending this territory aggressively. It tells me that the supply of people willing to sell at these levels has completely dried up. Now, why is the $1.20 level the ultimate gateway to $2.10? The current battlefield is situated right around the $1.20 mark. This is the exact line of descending resistance that has formed lower highs for months. However, Crypto Michael notes that if we break past the $1.20, the real targets to watch is the major historical zone between $1.90 and $2.10. Now, here's my opinion. To me, $1.20 is a psychological gatekeeper, but $1.90 to $2.10 is where the true institutional memory lies. Remember, the higher zone acted as a massive floor throughout most of 2025 following the explosive bull run of late 2024. From my perspective as a market observer, reclaiming $1.90 isn't just about a short-term price spike. It's about shifting the asset back into an entirely different financial tier. Once you flip a former massive support back into a current support, the macro trend reverses from bearish to aggressively bullish. Now, can buyers generate enough fuel to escape the descending channel? The big question remaining is whether there is enough active capital in the ecosystem to push the asset above the upper trend line and secure a decisive hold. Now, my view is that the fuel won't come from retail traders chasing green candles. It is already being positioned by institutional liquidity providers. So look around us this year of 2026. The infrastructure surrounding the XRP ledger is vastly different than it was a year ago. When a token is compressed to $1.12, it represents an incredibly attractive accumulation zone for deep-pocketed entities who want utility, not just hype. I believe the breakout crypto Michael is talking about will be sudden, violent, and won't give sideline buyers a clean opportunity to get back in at lower prices. And finally, here's our overall conclusion. So let's bring all of these moving parts together for a final evaluation of where we stand. We have a market that is tightly compressed beneath a $1.20 ceiling, a prominent analyst calling for an immediate resolution within days, and a pattern of higher lows that signals clear accumulation. So in conclusion, my overall view of this setup is that the market is preparing for a classic liquidity squeeze. When an asset spends months forming lower highs within a strict channel, the market becomes heavily short biased. A sudden push past $1.20 will likely force an immediate cascade of short liquidations, rapidly clearing the path toward the critical $1.90 to $2.10 zone. Crypto Michael here is leaning heavily into the timing aspect because mathematically the asset has simply run out of tarmac. The next few days are going to be critical, and missing the initial move could mean watching the ship sail from the shore. Alright, and this finally ends our video. Thank you very much for watching and see you on the next one, or you might just as well check this next recommended video right here.